what's happening, people? This talkback, again, the website is www.talkbackworld.net. That's where all the real fans gather, to discuss all things in fandom, whether it be movies, comic book movies, regular movies, indie movies, anything, to do with a fandom. We're always over there. TV shows, games, blah, blah, blah. All the people who've been listening to the Talkback episodes over the year and a half that we've been out and about doing what we do online will know about it. Obviously, there's also the radio show, which comes on every week or 2 weeks, or depending on when there's a big news issue in fandom out. Myself, the Merc, and Have Hope are always on hand to give our views as regular Joes on the beat as fans, as far as what we think, because we're like one of you guys, and everybody's got an opinion. So that's what we try to create, is a forum for fans with an opinion, thought out opinion, not just ranters and ravers, to come out there and to tell it like it is. That being said, to this particular podcast is dedicated to The Wire. Now, this is going to be a three-parter, I think. I mean, I'm just going to go into my feelings on this show now that the show is actually done and dusted, on the fifth season that was on earlier on this year on HBO. I'm just going to go through my feelings on the show overall, from season 1 through season 5, and the impact that it's made, and the reason why it is widely considered as probably one of the best TV shows ever created. And I actually do agree with that sentiment. Okay. The Wire is actually a strange thing for me, because I didn't really want to watch this show in the beginning, because I was like, I was getting tired of the whole stereotype thing of blacks gang banging, shooting, drugs, crack, violence, and all that sort of stuff that the rap game has basically glorified and become, and the fact that so many rappers as well, who I'm not really a fan of, because of the way that the rap situation has sort of galvanized this whole black stereotype has gone. I was like, man, if these guys are shouting the praises of this show, I don't really want to watch this show. And that's actually how I felt about it from the get-go. It's like, look, I've seen enough of these kinds of movies to know that, what, it's about time that we had some more positive black images on the TV screens or in movie theaters, rather than having this show that's like perpetuating blah blah blah. That's how I felt. And you know what? I hadn't seen the thing. I just knew what it was about, and that's how I felt about it initially. Then, I'd heard a lot of people saying it was so good, and it didn't really matter to me. But then this guy Alan Moore did this interview, and obviously I respect Alan Moore. Comic book fans all do, based on the work that he's put out. So when he said that, this is one of the best shows on television now, and like nothing even comes close to it on TV today, I was like, man, if this guy's saying this, then, I should probably check this thing out, So that was sort of the tipping point, for me. It was the point at which I said, you know what, I'm going to try The Wire out. And let me tell you guys, if you're of age, because this show is not for kids, and kids who watch it, I'm sorry, because your parents aren't doing a good job, because it's not the kind of thing. If you're under like 14, 15, you shouldn't be watching this show, because it's no holds barred. Ironically, there are a lot of people who are under 15, 14 years old in the show who are doing crazy things, but that's the whole point of it. But I don't believe it's the kind of show that should be promoted to children, little kids. It's definitely an adult themed show, hence why it's on HBO. And I have to commend them, because they really don't hold much back on this thing. It's like full on, whether it's the violence, the sex, the drugs, whatever you want to call it, it's all in there. It is an amazing show. And, just for an overview, it's basically, a show that deals with the Baltimore, Maryland, I think, drug scene. It's dealing with like the all levels of the drug scene. So initially, while I thought it was just looking at one area, it's actually a show that covers every level of the drugs game in Baltimore. Whether you're talking about all the way down from like the crackhead to the dealer to the suppliers to the the first on the scene police officers to the detectives to the police commissioners to the mayor's office and even down to the FBI. So it even gets to the federal level, and and then it even goes in down to like the journalists, the media, and every level of how the all these issues sort of interlock and intertwine with each other. And the first thing that hit me when I started watching this show, and this thing was like first thing that hit me, I was like, wow, the black people aren't just the criminals. They're like the policemen trying to catch the bad people. They're like the police chiefs. They're the commissioners. They're the journalists. These guys are like on every level. So that was the first stereotype that got broken for me because I didn't realize that was how it was. Like, I looked at it, and obviously this guy called McNulty, Jimmy McNulty, and on he's used to promote the show. Like when I looked at the DVD cover of season one, and the posters and everything, the way it's portrayed, it's pretty stereotypical. And maybe that is to draw people in because people expect to see that, white cop chasing black criminals, blah, 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 blah. So that's how I thought it was. I was like, oh, these white guys trying to catch them, blah, blah, blah. And you watch this thing, and McNulty is just one of the guys in this office, and the office is full of all races. There's Latin people, blacks, and mainly black guys, and as well who are detectives. And like Bunk, who is his partner, is a black guy, and it's like everybody in there. You got Cedric Daniels, you've got Freeman, you've got Carver, you've got all these guys, So that was a big shock to the system for me. I mean, for guys who've seen it, it wasn't a shock, but for me, it was like, wow, man, I've never seen it. I've never seen a show that way, whereby you're covering it from all bases, but the stereotype thing has been completely eroded, so that you've got Rawls, who is like the police I can't remember what his title was, who's in the office, but he's working with Cedric Daniels as well. So one guy's white, one guy's black, but you're not really seeing it played on a racial level. Though that they do talk about it, it's just done in a very realistic fashion, whereby these are just two police guys trying to do their jobs in different ways, whether they be corrupt ways or self-serving ways. It's just different ways. So that was interesting. So I'll tell all the people out there who looked at this show the way that I did before they went in to watch it, that oh, it's stereotyped as this and that. It's not. And I know a lot of people have felt that way. A lot of friends I've talked to have felt that way, so they didn't really give it a chance. Watched a couple of episodes and walked away. You need to give it a chance because, like, as the show goes on, you begin to realize that this is much deeper than just black v white. This is about human beings and business. So it's not looking at drugs as a drug thing. It's looking at it as a business. It's like, this is a business and this is how these guys run this business, but the business happens to be illegal and it's causing a lot of harm. So therefore, how do these guys, the police people on that side of the fence, deal with this harmful business? But then when you look at the criminals, these guys view it as a business, not as some racket. It's like a very organized business. And this was like very, very new and fresh for me. So even going down the thing, I mean, I was looking at sort of the characterization of some of these guys and how it was just breaking with all these themes. And you're looking at season one, which sort of like lays out the framework for this organization, the Barksdale group. So you've got Avon Barksdale, who's like the main guy, and Stringer Bell, who's like his deputy. And the thing that interested me most about the inversion of these guys is that if you look at the way Stringer's characterization is, you would, in most movies and in most things, Stringer's personality type would be the main boss.